Solvation effects in SN1, SN2 mechanisms. In this video, we are going to answer two questions. Question number 1. Polar protic solvents favor SN1 mechanism. Why? Question number 2. Polar aprotic solvents favor SN2 mechanism. Why? So these are the two questions which we are going to answer in this video. Before going to answer these questions, we have to learn about polar protic solvents and polar aprotic solvents. Therefore, let us start the classification of solvents. Solvents are classified into two types: polar solvents, non-polar solvents. Polar solvents have molecules with dipole moment. They have molecules with the net dipole moment. Non-polar molecules have molecules without dipole moment. They contain molecules without dipole moment. The net dipole moment is 0 in case of non-polar solvent molecules. If we consider the examples, water is a polar solvent, alcohol is a polar solvent, acetone is a polar solvent, DMSO is a polar solvent, etc. All these molecules have dipole moment. And if we consider non-polar solvents, benzene, carbon tetrachloride, N-hexane, all these are examples of non-polar solvents. These molecules do not have dipole moment. These are non-polar solvents. Now, the polar solvents are again classified into two types. Number 1, polar protic solvents. Number 2, polar aprotic solvents. Polar aprotic solvents. The difference between these two solvents is both are polar, both are having dipole moment molecules, but here polar protic solvents can release H plus ions. Polar protic solvents can release H plus ions, but polar aprotic solvents cannot release H plus ions. That is the difference between these two solvents. They cannot release H plus ions. Now if you write examples, water is a polar protic solvent, alcohol is polar protic solvent. And if we write examples for polar aprotic solvents, acetone, DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, DMSO, DMF, dimethyl formamide, crown ethers, acetone nitrile, etc. All these are examples of polar aprotic solvents. So this is how the solvents are classified. Let us revise. Solvents are classified into two types: polar solvents, non-polar solvents. Polar solvents are again classified into two types: polar protic solvents, polar aprotic solvents. Now we are going to discuss in detail polar protic solvents. All the information about polar protic solvents will be discussed now. Examples for polar protic solvents are water, alcohol, etc. Water, this is first example, H2O, and the second example is alcohol, ROH. Now if you write the expansion of these molecules, water is HOH and alcohol is ROH. Here we have to observe that oxygen is more electronegative, therefore partial negative, and hydrogen will become partially positive. Because oxygen is more electronegative, it will drag the sigma electrons towards itself, therefore minus partial negative, and this is partial positive. Hydrogen here also becomes partial positive. And here oxygen is more electronegative, therefore partial negative and partial positive. Now we have to write some important points about these polar protic solvents. Number one, in these molecules, hydrogen is attached to highly electronegative atoms like oxygen, nitrogen, etc. Because there is a lot of electronegativity difference between oxygen and hydrogen, there will be very high dipole moment. This is very important point. There will be very high dipole moment. That implies these are highly polar molecules. These are highly polar molecules. They have very high dipole moment. Now another important point is these molecules can solvate both cations and anions. This is a very important point. Polar protic solvents can solvate both cations and anions. Now let us see how these are able to solvate cations and anions. For example, let us suppose our cation is Na plus and the solvent which we are going to use is H2O, water. Let us see what happens. The negative end of the molecule, water molecule, that is oxygen, partial negative, has come near to the Na plus and hydrogens are away from it. Like that in all the molecules, the oxygen negative end has come near to the cation, oxygen negative end. Therefore, electrostatic force of attraction exists between this ion and this dipole. This is an ion dipole interaction. Because of this ion dipole interaction, the ions are getting surrounded by the water molecules. That implies the cations are solvated by water molecules. Similarly, the anion Cl minus, for example, let us suppose our anion is Cl minus. The Cl minus ion can also get solvated. Let us see how it gets solvated. See here, hydrogen is having partial positive and this partial positive end has come near to the Cl minus anion. That implies in all the things ion dipole interactions are existing here. The positive end of the molecule, water molecule, is coming near to the anion. Therefore, the anion Cl minus is being surrounded by the water molecules. Therefore, water molecules have solvated the anion Cl minus also. Therefore, here we have to learn the very important point here. Polar protic solvents can solvate both cations and anions. This is the conclusion of this topic, polar protic solvents. Now we are going to polar aprotic solvents. We are going to learn about polar aprotic solvents. The first example which we are going to consider under the heading polar aprotic solvents is acetone. Acetone. In acetone, oxygen is more electronegative, therefore the pi electrons shift on to oxygen in resonance and oxygen gets negative charge, carbon gets positive charge. Therefore here also there is a positive part and a negative part. Therefore these are also polar solvents. But here the hydrogens are attached to carbon. They are not attached to oxygen. Therefore these hydrogens are not ionized. Therefore H plus ions are not released. Therefore these come under the category of polar aprotic solvents because hydrogens are not able to come out. Therefore there are charges polar, hydrogens are not able to come out, therefore aprotic, polar aprotic solvents. Another example for polar aprotic solvent is DMSO. DMSO. The full form of DMSO is dimethyl sulfoxide. This is the structure of dimethyl sulfoxide. Here also resonance takes place and pi electrons are shifted towards more electronegative oxygen and oxygen gets a negative charge. So here also positive end and negative end are there, positive part and negative part. Therefore this is also a polar molecule, but here hydrogens cannot come out. Therefore these are polar protic solvents. DMSO is polar protic solvent. Like that we can write many examples. The third example which we have is DMF, dimethyl formamide. Dimethyl formamide. In dimethyl formamide, HC double bond O N CH3CH3, this nitrogen is having one lone pair of electrons and these lone pair of electrons will shift here and pi electrons will shift on to oxygen in resonance. Therefore nitrogen gets positive charge and oxygen gets negative charge. Therefore in this molecule also there is a negative end and positive end, but hydrogens cannot come out. Therefore this is also a polar protic solvent, polar aprotic solvent. There are some other examples. Let us write the names itself. The other examples are crown ethers. Crown ether is also a polar aprotic solvent. Another example, acetone nitrile. Acetone nitrile. These are all polar aprotic solvents. Now the important points about these polar aprotic solvents are hydrogens are not attached to oxygen and nitrogen. Therefore these molecules have very low dipole moments. Because these are having low dipole moments, these are less polar when compared to polar protic solvents. These are less polar. Now the most important point is these molecules can solvate cations, but they cannot solvate anions. They cannot solvate anions. Let us see the reason for this. If you consider this DMSO, here there is a positive end and negative end, positive part, negative part. The negative part is very free. It can easily solvate cations. It can easily solvate cations. But for the solvation of anions, we need to have positive part. But the positive part is surrounded by bulky alkyl groups. The positive part is surrounded by bulky alkyl groups. Therefore, this positive end cannot solvate the anions. Same is the case with other aprotic solvents also. Here in acetone, negative end is free, therefore it can solvate cations, but the positive end is surrounded by bulky alkyl groups. Therefore, this positive end cannot solvate anions. So this is very important point. Polar aprotic solvents can solvate cations, but they cannot solvate anions. They cannot solvate anions. Very important point. I repeat once again. Polar aprotic solvents can solvate cations, but they cannot solvate anions. Now we are going to answer our first question. Polar protic solvents favor SN1 mechanism. Why? In SN1 mechanism, the rate determining step is Rx converts into R plus and X minus. This R plus is carbocation and X minus is the leaving group. Here in the first step we are getting ions. This is the slowest step and this is the rate determining step. If these ions are stabilized, then the forward reaction will occur better and rate of reaction increases. We can stabilize these ions by solvation. Here we have to solvate both cation and anions. Therefore, here polar protic solvents are suitable. Therefore, polar protic solvents are suitable. The reason is they can solvate both cations and anions. Here the ions are formed and they can be solvated by polar protic solvent. Then forward reaction will occur better and therefore polar protic solvent is suitable for SN1 mechanism. Now our second question is, polar aprotic solvents favor SN2 mechanism. Why? Polar aprotic solvents favor SN2 mechanism. Why? In SN2 mechanism, the rate determining step is Rx plus OH minus nucleophile forms a transition state, and from this transition state the product is formed. Here the OH minus will come and attack from the back side, and the OH bond will be forming, and here Rx bond will be breaking, and therefore the transition state and product are formed. So what we have to realize here is the OH minus is attacking in the first step itself, or it is attacking in the rate determining step. Therefore we need to have the OH minus in the rate determining step. We know that OH minus comes from the reagent NaOH or KOH. So now we have to understand this topic clearly. Let us write in points. The first point is NaOH is an ionic compound. For getting OH minus, we need to have dissociation. For its dissociation, that is NaOH gives Na plus OH minus, dash solvent is suitable. Which solvent is suitable? First we have to answer it. We know that ionic compounds are soluble in polar solvents. Therefore, for this dissociation, polar solvent is suitable. Therefore, first thing is we need to have polar solvents. Now the question is, what happens if we use a polar protic solvent? Here we decided that polar solvents are suitable. Now what happens if we use polar protic solvents? Polar solvents are of two types, polar protic, polar aprotic. Why should we use what happens if we use polar protic solvents? Now we have to answer this question. If we use polar protic solvents, both Na plus and OH minus ion get solvated. Both cation Na plus and anion OH minus get solvated. There is no problem if solvation of Na plus occurs, but if solvation of OH minus occurs, OH minus ion cannot move freely because it is surrounded by solvent molecules. Therefore, if OH minus ion gets solvated, it cannot move freely. If it is not able to move freely, it cannot attack the substrate molecule easily. Therefore, OH minus ion should not get solvated. Now, what is our next question? What happens if we use polar aprotic solvents? The answer is no problem. No problem. Polar aprotic solvents are quite suitable for SN2 mechanism. Why? Because we have learned that polar aprotic solvents can solvate the cations like Na plus, but they cannot solvate the anions like OH minus. We have learnt it in the previous topics. Therefore, OH minus ion is not solvated by polar aprotic solvent. Therefore, OH minus ion can move freely and it can easily attack the substrate molecule from the backside. It can easily attack the substrate molecule from the backside. Therefore, we are able to solvate the cation Na plus and the OH minus is not solvated. Therefore, solubility of NaOH has taken place, but OH minus ion is not solvated. Therefore, polar aprotic solvents are quite suitable for SN2 mechanism. So let us recall this once again. In SN1 mechanism, we are getting two ions. These two ions can be stabilized by solvation. Therefore, polar aprotic solvents are suitable. Polar aprotic solvents are suitable. In SN2 mechanism, the rate determining step involves the attack of OH minus, that is nucleophile. This OH minus comes from a substance NaOH. Dissociation of this NaOH is important. Therefore, polar solvent is suitable, but polar aprotic solvents are not suitable, but polar aprotic solvents are suitable. The answer is very clear here. Go through these points and learn this topic very clearly. So our questions both are answered. Polar aprotic solvents favor SN1 mechanism. It is answered. Polar aprotic solvents favor SN2 mechanism. This is also answered. Thank you.